Good day, guys. Mark here again, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, you love cars and DIYs, please consider subscribing and check out my playlist. Alright, so for today's DIY, I'm going to show you on how to basically clean, replace your airbox filter for your Hyundai Eon or any car in particular. Alright, so for today's DIY, all you need to have is basically a piece of cloth or rag, your replacement air filter if needed, and some air boxes uses bolts, and most air filter boxes are locked in with clips like this one. So just check your air box if it uses screws or bolts or just clip-ons. In our case, it's just clip type, so no special tools, no wrenches, no screwdrivers needed. All right, so before we begin, let's talk about air filter elements and why should we replace them. Okay, so air filter elements are actually the first line of defense of our engine against dust, contaminants, or basically anything, any foreign objects that can harm your engine. Um, the manufacturer recommends that our air filter elements for Hyundai Eon should be replaced within 20,000 kilometers or 24 months, whichever comes first. Okay, so why should we replace it? So the air filter elements are made out of paper, so in time it gets filled with dust and basically debris that your engine catches during its operation. So is it recommended for the air filter element to be cleaned by compressed air? In my opinion, no. Because even if you use a compressed air, you'll just be basically removing the loose dust already in excess on your air filter elements. The basically the dust that are stuck in on the paper element itself will remain there. Okay, so aside from that, the filtration is not as effective if you'll just be cleaning it that way and reusing it. So you might just harm your engine if you're doing that. And besides, your air filter element costs really cheap. Okay. All right, so we're just gonna remove the air filter element that I'm using. This has just run about almost 3,000 kilometers, so this is new. So all you need to do is just remove the clips, but before opening the air box, make sure to wipe any dirt that is present, because we don't want those basically coming in your air box. All right, so using your hand, pull the cover upwards like this, and then you'll see the air filter element. All right. All right, so this is what our filter looks like in less than 3,000 kilometers. You can see it's getting dark now, and I'm gonna show you a comparison. What does a brand new air filter looks like? An air filter element. Okay, so all right, so the one on the left is the old air filter, and this is the new one. Okay, this runs I have used this in less than 3,000 kilometers. As you can see, it's really dark compared to the brand new one. I'm not gonna replace this yet because I'm usually I replace my air filter every other oil change. I wanted to talk to you guys about the air filter elements like this. A little bit of history. So the air filter element doesn't look this way before. Back in the days, during the 90s, when I started working on engines, air filter elements looks circular, so it's round in shape. Why? Because the engines back then are carbureted type, and because of the circular shape of the carburetor, that's the reason why the air filter back then is are basically circle in shape. Now, when EFI was introduced, or fuel injected engines was introduced, the engineers developed an air filter element that is rectangular in shape. Why? Because rectangular air filter has more coverage in terms of filtering air compared to the circular air filter. That's why we have this type of air filter now. And why should we replace this? Okay, again, as I mentioned earlier, we should be replacing this because it gets filled with dust. As you can see, you can even see spider stuck inside the air filter. Okay, even if you blow this with compressed air, you'll just blow out the excess dust, but the color would still be the same. So the filtration or the filter effect wouldn't be as effective as it was before. Okay. Now, when choosing your air filter, choose the filter that has a lot of panels like this. The 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 more panel you have, the more air it gets, the more air will be filtered. Okay, so the better. I mean, so it will last longer in terms of lifespan, and you'll get better performance out of your engine because once this is clogged with dust and debris, uh, you'll encounter poor mileage and poor engine performance. Okay, so I'm just gonna wipe this with cloth. I don't have any compressors. I'm gonna replace it on my next oil change about 3 months from now. That would be fine because that has been my routine for the past 5 years and never had a problem. Now, I often read or see posts that they say that the air filter is washable. This one is not. Okay, the paper filter element or the stock paper filter element is not washable. You'll just ruin the filter itself. Okay, um, paper and water doesn't mix well together. Okay, so this is not washable. Some aftermarket or performance filter are washable. I do believe K&N has washable filters, but this specific filter or the stock filter element is not. So never ever mix that with water. You'll just mess up your filter element. And also, one thing, um, I have been doing this before when I was working as a motorcycle mechanic and some engine back in the days during the 90s. If you know someone or an old school mechanic, um, we actually put oil on the filter element to catch more dirt. It makes it more effective compared to just plain paper. But in modern engine, that's not advisable because carburetor engine doesn't use um, electronics compared to the modern engine that we have. Okay, so if you use oil or silicone spray on your filter element, that will mess up or break your oxygen sensor and basically ruin your engine. Okay, so never ever spray oil, put oil on your air filter. That only applies to older engine that uses carburetor. All right, so I'm gonna wipe the filter clean. This doesn't do much, just basically the physical debris that I'm able to see. Um, it's not that black, but I'll be replacing this on my next oil change. Okay, so or reverse the process that we've done, and also before returning the filter, check for foreign debris. I'm not seeing any, so that means that the filter is doing its job. All right, and there you go. So make sure that everything is secure. All right, so that's basically how you replace and clean your air filter on your car or your Hyundai Eon. Alright, so I hope you find this video useful. If you do, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing and check out the playlist that I have. See you on the next video. Thank you.